Call hello Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakwadash, double honors to the apostles of GMS who teach and rule well. Salutations to you brothers in the highways and byways. Salutations also goes out to you brothers and few sisters that tune in to listen and learn. The brother Malak from the Diligent Soldier Camp here in Boston, Mass. As always, I pray this lesson be edifying to the elect. Right? This is going to be an in-transit one. I have no name for it. I just dropped off a client, and she was telling me this wild story about about the father of her children that she's been with, since she was like 15 or something like that. I didn't ask for her age. She was very distraught, but she was telling me some of the details. That I was actually trying to avoid her getting into any details, but once witchcraft entered the chat, I became intrigued, as far as like what she was telling me, and first and foremost, man, it's just crazy how, people tap into that, there's no good way of using it, right? You can't do good with that, so even if you try to use that so-called, think you're gonna get into that and use it for good, like, you summoning demons, you know what I'm saying? You taking in malicious spirits, man. You be making yourself open, susceptible to those things. So, those things are not going to produce anything positive in the mind. You know what I mean? Something that's corrupted can't bring anything that's positive up, man. That's, as the scripture says, I don't want to, because I'm driving right now, and I don't want to butcher it too much, but a corrupt fruit cannot bring forth, good fruit, I hope I didn't butcher that too wrong. And so, the same ideas with this, man. You inviting these demons in your body, and it's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna produce anything good, man. But to stick to the topic, she goes on to tell me, man, how the father of her children that she's been with for so long, his mother is a witch, she says, you know what I'm saying? And she goes on to tell me how she has put witchcraft on her own son. She's been abusing him since he was young himself, both mentally and physically, in a sexual sense. Okay. She told me that she's like obsessed with him or whatnot. Apparently he has another brother, and she did the same thing with him, and they have a sister that the mom also made that other brother and the sister have a child together. It's just madness, man, right? And these are supposedly Simeonites, that are doing all this. The mom and the witch mother and those children. And the person that is the passenger that's telling me this, she's Italian, man. You know what I mean? Why am I bringing this up? For the simple fact, man, that we know in the scriptures it tells us that there's no enchantment, man, against the children of Israel, man. And we have to praise Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai every day that we don't fall for the bullshit, man, because it's not only Esau out here with his enchantments that we are not ignorant of, right? As the scripture says, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices, but it's also our people, man. Our people are into a lot of crazy, sick shit. You know what I mean? This lady, she was so distraught that at one point she sits up to the edge of the seat to tell me, and she's like, yo, I'm gonna tell you a secret. And I'm like, okay. And at this point I know it's gonna be something with what she's telling me that has to do with some type of witchcraft or something. And I know it's gonna be crazy, but I did not expect her telling me. I did not expect her to tell me that so-called Scorpios, right, from that zodiac sign, are all born with this ability of, I guess what she was trying to explain to me was basically having familiar spirits, right? And they're all born between a certain months, and they're not born with these abilities, but people in their family that are also so-called Scorpios have to teach them this, if for whatever reason they choose to. And she was telling me that her mother-in-law, who she hates, has been controlling and putting witchcraft on her and all these things, and try to kill her and everything. But she goes on to tell me that her husband told her that his mom taught him how to, because he was a Scorpio too apparently, how to, and this is gonna sound crazy, get inside or in between walls and basically grab some type of electrical cable in there. And I guess, if you're one of these familiar, people that are with familiar spirits, you have the ability to also sodomize yourself with this electrical thing and it doesn't electrify you, right? It doesn't kill you, but some way, somehow, you're able to get in the mind of the people and manipulate people and know what's going on with them and this, time, the third. The way she was explaining it to me was so out of this fucking. I was like, man, this is crazy, right? And so I'm not saying that I believed any of it. I'm not dismissing any of it neither, because that how demons do. Do I believe these people with shape-shifting and shit like that? Because she was literally telling me that they know how to snake in there or go inside the walls like snakes or whatever. I don't know. But the point is this, we are not enchanted by the simple fact of, or how should I say this? The fact that we're not taken by people who claim or are dealing with familiar spirits. You know what I mean? Are into witchcraft. The fact that we are not controlled by that, by them, by their threat, by that threat, or even that threat being a threat. Because in reality, by that I mean, as the scripture says, where there's no enchantment. Because there's people that are completely out of their mind, man. If some of this is true, if the very least of all this is true, which is his mom being into witchcraft and abusing him and his siblings, and now that thing crossing over to his own personal life, with his children and his wife, just that happening, is not only a burden, man, but what's the word, man? Almost like a curse, man. Like horrific, man. It's just terrible. It's terrible, And call hello Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. We don't have that mentality, man. We're not caught. We're not caught in this way of thinking, man. We're not consumed by what mere men could possibly do to us, what they do to each other, and what could they possibly do, and what they possibly could do to us, man. A lot of people are consumed in the mind that way, man. So I just wanted to put that out there, man. We in some crazy times, man, and these things are coming out, and whether you believe any of that story of hers, I know it was a little vague. I didn't go into other details. I didn't think it was really worthy to even mention, or a part of the little in transit little lesson or whatever, I guess I call it, man. I just wanted to put that out there because, man, we're all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah again, man, that we're not caught up in these type of mental shackles, man, and spiritual hindrance, hindering, man, because, man, let me tell you, man, her facial expression was, in her eyes, I could see how destroyed she is, man, how defeated she is. She's over here planning to bounce to Maine. We don't get into people's affairs or anything, but when I heard her mention the fact that he wants her also to leave and that's the best place to go to or whatever, I said, yeah, you should do exactly that, man. Get away from that as much as far as possible. You know what I mean? And leave it to the Lord, because she's Italian, so I don't know if this person could be a Israelite foreigner, but I didn't get really into anything scriptural other than the fact that issues of death belong to the Lord, because she was saying that she was thankful that her man saved her life. And I said, well, the Lord saved your life. You know what I mean? Because it's up to him if you live or die. All right? He put the spirit on your husband to save you, or do whatever it was that he did, that you think he did to save you, man. I wasn't agreeing with the witchcraft or anything when I was talking to her, but we're just being wise, man, because that will lead to maybe other questions coming from her, because she was listening to me at one point, man. And I was just taken back, man, for the fact that some people are we dodging all these other things, and then you got a neighbor that 100% believes that her husband and her husband's mother is sneaking into between the walls in her apartment to keep an eye on her and all types of crazy shit, So, Koholo Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, we're not destroyed in that or through in that mental state, man. All right, so I just want to say Koholo Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, double honors to the apostles. Salutations to your brothers in the highways and byways. Salutations also goes out to your brothers and few sisters that tune in to listen and learn. To you all I say, Shalom.